Here we go. So welcome to the Workgroup API expression meeting. It's the 26th of May, and we got nothing on the fixed agenda. So has anybody anything to add here that should be discussed? Doesn't sound like it. Anton, you're muted if you're talking.
I'm not.
Okay, then let's go through our work items. Client-side to server-side transition. Is Julian here? Doesn't look like it. Do you know anything, Anton?
Not much. I can see that Julian is not here. Julian is trying to finish it, but he's also, I think he's changing job, so I don't know how much is going to be available after that.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to plan on that. And yeah, but I think he's trying to finish that. But he's also not making a lot of progress these days, so maybe we'll have to finish it ourselves.
Okay. There's a discussion here. That's pretty old. I think that's resolved somehow, or isn't?
You're talking
I think
about
it's also the comment. Yeah, I think it's also part of the discussion if we should keep apply or not. With the force conflicts and force.
Yeah. I mean, override doesn't make any sense for server-side apply, so.
Yeah.
We do not intend to make the conflict option default to true. The force conflict defaults to true, definitely not. I think people will have to change their CI/CD system to make the necessary change. If they want to force it in their CI/CD, they'll have to change it.
Yeah, what are we going to talk about that today?
I mean, we can. Do you have something to say?
Oh, I know. I saw that you opened an issue on it, and I responded, but I didn't see much since then.
I haven't responded. Yeah, I should probably respond to that.
Yeah, I think it's actually pretty important that we don't add a new option without deprecating the client-side apply. I think that would be super confusing for everybody.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like you're saying if we deprecated client-side apply, then we could make a different command. Is that what you just said?
No, what I just said is that I don't want two commands because that's super confusing.
Sure. Yeah. The goal of the issue was not to have a discussion between you and I, because I think we've had this discussion in the past.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've seen people ask me to open this issue. Mike Spreitzer was one of them, because he was disagreeing with how it's done. I've heard Justin Santa Barbara disagree about the strategy. I've heard people disagree about the strategy. I don't know if I agree with the strategy myself, but we've had this discussion together before. My goal was to have opinions from other people.
Yeah, okay. Maybe we can
yeah.
solicit those opinions, because I don't like the partial state that we're in.
Oh yeah, I don't like it either.
I'd like some certainty. Yeah, that'd be good. I also think, like,
describe what you want, like
what I want.
Like you say, it's uncertain and you like certainty. How would you picture what you would like?
So I think we should figure out who the stakeholders are, and honestly, I'm not sure it's any of the people that you listed. I think the people who should get a say in this are basically SIG CLI and to a lesser extent API machinery folks.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I've pinged them on the issue. Nobody has responded.
Okay.
Also, I had talked to SIG CLI and they were okay with the current plan, so I think that's fine.
Okay. Maybe I'll go find the issue and just say that. And if people want to say that we think the stakeholders are SIG CLI and we haven't heard objections from them, so we're going to assume that we're not adding a second command, we're rolling over an existing command.
Yeah.
And that if people disagree with that, then like maybe we should give them a few weeks to argue or something like that.
Yeah. I've copy pasted the issue in the, and I'm gonna add these to this document.
Thanks. I will go say that right now.
All right. Then the next one we would have are the defaulted associative keys. I think Jenny isn't here either.
Yeah, I can see Jenny. I don't know if there was any progress, but if there was, I'm not aware of it.
Me neither. Okay. Build example for field angling policy.
Yeah, I've created this document. At the bottom, I need to the goal is to look at some fields and agree or disagree on what should be done if we remove them. And so I've copy pasted an object and I'm going to comment on this field and say what I think should happen if we remove them. And then I want people to also comment and give their opinion. I see Justin has an opinion. Yes, and Justin is saying that in general, I think, and we talked about it, I think his opinion is that whichever path you take, if you apply an object, yeah, you should end up with the same result, whether you've applied different things before or not. So if I apply an object directly, or if I apply something and then apply this object, I should end up in the same state. And because we're doing the dangling thing, that's not happening right now. But I think the reasoning doesn't work because of defaults anyway. Yeah.
So I think his assertion is correct if we ignore the effects of other actors on the system.
Yes, right. That's a good point. Yes.
So if other people are doing stuff, I don't think this, because they might be owning fields. So you have to ignore that. But if yeah, that might even be a good way of testing this. If we assume that there's a single applier, then you should be able to have a test that has like 5 different versions of a YAML file, and applying them one at a time should give you the same result as just applying the last one directly.
This is not what we're doing today, though.
Yes, and it's very surprising.
Yeah. What you're saying is that if the HPA has changed the field, then applying without the replicas field mean that we should leave it alone. But if nobody else has applied the replicas or changed the replicas, then we should reset it.
Hold on. Is there a default on, because defaults matter, right? Is there a default on that field?
Yes, to 1.
So we'd have to either have the rule that defaulted fields don't follow this logic, or that when you remove a defaulted field, it gets reset to its default, which is what happens today with client-side apply, and that is also a bug, because if you start off with 1,000 replicas, change it to, or delete that field from your manifest, and then win the race with HPA, you don't want your service to actually get turned down in the meantime.
Yeah, but okay, but even if you're the only actor, so yeah, at this point you're maybe the only actor and the HPA hasn't triggered yet. So there is only one actor at this time until the HPA triggers, right?
Exactly.
That's the race. But
Exactly.
at this time you're the only actor. If you're saying that when there is only one actor, whether you've applied with 1,000 before or not doesn't make a difference, then it means we have to reset to 1.
Correct. I'm saying that that is not the right answer, so his rule doesn't apply to defaulted fields.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I think his rule might apply to non-defaulted, so that's optional or like element, so like list item, map item fields.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll try and find this document and state that there, but I'm already in the middle of commenting on the other issue.
I'm going to paste a link. There you go.
Okay. Next one is status wiping. I updated the description in the SND PR, Daniel, if you want to look at it again. And I started with, I put the new changes from SND into the Kubernetes repo and used the versions correctly now. So if anybody wants to review the stuff in Kubernetes before I go on and do it for every field type, for every resource type again, I'd be glad for that.
So you're waiting for a review on this, right?
On the SMB, yes, and probably also on the implementation, as it would be annoying to continue again, do all the kinds, and then it was for nothing. So the PR is big, but what you can do is, well, and it's slow, you can go to the pod strategy, which is the way it's currently implemented, and see the new way the strategy is built with the reset fields. So that's an idea I had to keep the both things together. It might be ugly or wrong in your opinion, and that's good to hear. But it was an idea.
This way, okay.
And it allows to provide dynamic functions that get called at runtime for detecting feature gates and adding those to the fields. I only did one so far because there's a lot for pods, so it might be feasible to make a generic function for pods because they are used there's drop disabled pod fields is used a lot, so that would be fun to build. But in general, that's the way I came up with to define the reset function, the reset fields, and the dynamic reset fields in one place.
Okay. I don't hate the idea of having everything in one place.
Yeah, I don't know if it's more readable than before, like having one call that bundles everything together and exposes an interface, but I can understand if it's weird to have function definitions in a function call. I'm not sure if I like it myself, but it keeps stuff together. Yeah.
Okay, I'll look at it later.
Yep. And the SMBD stuff is definitely ready for
Yeah,
the
I sent it to you, Daniel, on last week someday. If you can have a look, we're trying to have this deep removal of fields from a set.
Yeah,
Okay,
I asked some questions in this one, didn't I?
Yeah, and we tried to address the documentation and naming and
Oh,
tests.
that's
Okay.
one PR.
Yeah, I mean, I asked for the documentation because I really did not understand what this was supposed to be doing. I didn't understand the difference between this and the regular one.
Yeah, I struggle to understand why you didn't understand, but
Okay. Yeah. If you've added stuff, I'll go look again. Like, basically, are we sure we need both? Like, maybe the regular one just isn't doing the right thing, or?
no, because sometimes we want to remove exactly the set that is specified,
Yeah,
and sometimes we want to do a deep removal. Like if you specify the root or like a path, we want to remove everything below that path.
so this one behaves like deleting a folder, and there is folders in the folder, and you delete the folders inside there. The previous one deletes it behaves like you address a direct field down until its name and delete that.
You have examples of that in the test now, Kevin, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe that's gonna help.
All right. I'll look. Sorry, I'm like pretty swamped, so
Yeah, I know.
I'll try and look at it.
Yeah. Take your time. If you have questions, you can ping me or comment.
Cool.
Okay, then sub-resources, I think nothing happened there.
Yeah, I think we should move that to the backlog because we are definitely not working on that.
Let's break everything. Top or where? What is that? Right here. Okay. And oh yeah, we have this, but that's not that much related right now. And I think Joe is here. Do you want to talk about the schema validation?
Yeah, I haven't been able to do much since last time we talked, since I got pulled away on other things. So it's pretty much what we described last time.
Okay.
I was hoping to get a doc together, so I'll try and get that going early this week.
Okay. Mike and Tim are not here this week, so, and last week I think not much happened on it, so let's skip that. And directly converts CRD structural schema to SMB schema. I'm not sure if anything went on there.
I don't think so. No, not of anything.
Yeah, we had the server-side apply doesn't honor force discussion. We have the last time already, or should we talk about it?
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it should be easy to fix. I mean, I know Daniel's not a big fan of this flag. We would, oh yeah, I remember saying that I hate this flag. But the point is that we have it now, so I think we have to implement it.
Wait, why?
Because we have the flag, we need the deprecation policy if we want to remove it or not do it.
This is the delete and recreate.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another comment, another bug where we discussed recently.
So
This one.
we can make force incompatible with server-side apply.
I don't see how it's related to server-side. Like people who used the flag before, why would they not want to use it with server-side apply? What's different?
I see. So this, honestly, force is not a good idea.
Yeah, I know.
Things and recreating them can have really unexpected consequences, right? Like if you apply a namespace and add force, you'll find that the server deletes. Yeah, find that the server deletes all your stuff. So I think it's too dangerous for. I think we should have named it like delete and recreate or something like that. Then at least people know what they're getting. I don't think force is a good description of what it actually does.
It's terrible.
So you can argue that kubectl does it this way for all commands, and we shouldn't be special. Which I guess maybe. Is it a global flag or is it a flag that's added to every subcommand?
It's just for apply, I think.
It's just for apply?
Yeah.
It's not
no,
for
delete has force as well, I thought.
Yeah, I think edit does the update have a force option? I think update has a force option.
Maybe.
If it's a global flag, then we have to keep it. But if it is a per command flag, then we should definitely like mark it deprecated even for client side. Make it incompatible if you try to use server side, and add a delete and recreate, or a delete first. Maybe that's what it should be called.
I mean, do we really want to have a new flag just for server-side apply within the same command that does the same thing?
That's what. If it's a global flag, then it should be fixed to the globally. If it's only for server-side, if it's only for apply, then yeah, I think we should change it.
So yeah, it seems to be global.
We should, I guess, we should change it either way. Is what I'm saying. The question is it our problem or is it kubectl's problem? Looks like it might be kubectl's problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In which case, like, if it's a global flag and we can't change it, then we should. I guess we should implement it. It's
yeah, I'm worried
because we have the conflict.
If somebody's using this flag as part of their CI/CD, first of all, good luck to them. Second of all, we're gonna break it for these people again.
It's really especially confusing for server-side apply though, because we have the force conflict option. Yeah. So I wonder if we should specifically prevent it for server-side apply just to keep people using force when they need force conflicts.
Yeah, well, we could have used that name.
You know, we could add in parallel, but because I guess well, maybe people don't need a way to do this, but if we think people need a way to do this, we could add a sibling, like an alias flag, a global delete first or delete and recreate flag, so people could call that with apply instead of force. Alternatively, we could call force immutable fields or like add an apply specific command. I don't know. Do we really want people doing this? Like, is it really that much of a hassle to write, you know, delete -f the file name and then apply -f the file name?
Well, that's different because delete -f is going to remove everything. And it's already well, we don't look at the failure reason before we delete. So it's because you said first immutable, and I think the initial goal is to say, yeah, indeed, if you're trying to change an immutable field, you need to remove and then agree. But the problem is that I think even if you get like a 500 or like whatever the error, it's going to delete and recreate, which is terrible. Or even if the validation is wrong. So it's pretty broken.
Should we take this up in should we take
Immediately
this up in 6 CLI maybe? It seems like this is, yeah. Do we have to solve this problem to get server-side apply on? What's the minimum that we can do to make progress here?
Well, I think we have to do what kubectl does. If we want to change the behavior of kubectl because we believe it's wrong, then we should erase that, but it should be a separate orthogonal problem. But I think for
Yeah,
now,
so
the only option is to actually do what they ask us to do. I mean, they're not asking us explicitly, but I think that's the behavior we have to implement, as bad as it is.
yeah, it's really unfortunate. I think users are gonna.
So from the command description, it sounds like it's immediately being deleted and replaced, not only when there's an error. Is that wrong? Does it only replace on an error? The reference here says it immediately removes resource from API.
You're looking at the delete.
Oh, I'll add replace. 1 second. What was it? Apply up here.
Yeah, I would say replace is the same as apply.
It's always the same. Yeah, it's always
Yeah,
the same.
I mean, yeah, because the flag is declared once and then reused everywhere, so
Yeah.
it always has the same description.
So does it?
So is it about recreating, or is it about bypassing principal deletion?
Both.
No, it's about doing delete and recreate.
That's not what it says there.
Yeah, it has to
says
bypass
remove
the
resources.
principal deletion because it won't be able to recreate the object otherwise, no?
Right, but on the, I mean, it kind of means that it means different things in different places. And if that's the case, then we can decide what it should mean for server-side apply.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Also for apply, do we, using force with server-side apply would mean we remove the object and recreate, which would lose all managed fields, and that's intended? I mean, it would be necessary because you would have to do it anyways, I suppose.
Okay, so what's the actual problem? What's the actual problem we're trying to solve here?
Somebody created a ticket saying that force doesn't work for server-side apply, and we're wondering if we need to implement it or not. And my suspicion is that we probably should, and call it the day.
Do we all agree that this is very dangerous?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But again, I think it's a case we have to argue with the CLI team.
Okay, and right now it doesn't work because we didn't implement it. You know what? I personally think this kind of bug. We have to do something eventually. I don't know if we have to solve this right now. I'm much more worried about the semantics around fields, which fields get deleted and which get reset when you remove a field from your manifest. Yeah. I think that is a much more important problem. This is like, it's broken right now, but at least it didn't destroy the person's cluster or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. It's not very important.
So maybe can we like put this on the backlog to revisit in like a month or something? I just, it doesn't feel like we should be spending a bunch of time on this right now.
No, should we at least ping the CLI maintainers maybe to ask for their opinion?
Yeah. Here, I'll write up a quick. Can you paste that in the chat?
I was doing so.
I'll write a really quick comment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
I didn't mean this to be the meeting where I take a bunch of work.
Field type is dropped by pre-116 Clanco. That's the one where we also had a discussion with Jordan, I think.
Yes.
Partially.
Yes. Yeah, that's part of it. Yes. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
We're working on this. I mean, I've made progress. My PR is ready. Your PR is mostly ready, as far as I understand.
Ah, yeah, that was yeah. Yeah, so I don't know if Stanley you got the discussion, but basically we're dropping managers on any conversion error to a manager version now.
Say that again.
So currently we drop managers if a version is not available for conversion.
Okay.
And now we would drop the manager on any conversion error.
Any conversion error? Like what's an example conversion error?
The object is not convertible, or the version is not there. One reason was that CRDs currently don't return an error.
All managers, or just the managers for that version?
Only the one.
Only the manager that had the error?
Yeah, and therefore can't be compared.
Okay, that doesn't sound too bad, I guess. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, right. We used to fail.
I mean, that's. I mean, what happens if you have registered a webhook which requires a conversion between those two versions?
If the webhook fails, it's going to drop the manager.
I mean, if the system is misconfigured to this extent, should the request really be succeeding?
We expect the request is going to fail anyway, but we believe it's not up to us to decide.
Okay, if the request is not going to succeed, then it doesn't really matter what we do, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay. Okay, then.
But if it could have succeeded, then we shouldn't be saying, no, please don't go. It shouldn't fail because of us.
It's kind of an academic discussion, right? Why is this case being brought up? Like, is this actually happening?
Yeah, so we had
yeah.
Where does it come from? For one, we had the error that people applied when resetting the managed fields, we set this empty object in the managed fields set, and that fails at exactly this place because we set a manager which doesn't have a version, therefore we can't convert it. And previously that worked for internal types, but CRDs don't return an error we can check here. So here we check. No, that's a different one. Okay, I lost it.
So like there shouldn't be objects that are not convertible in the system anymore.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
That shouldn't happen.
So here we check if it's a missing version error, and CRDs don't return anything that can be checked here, which is a different problem. And that's where we came to the discussion where Jordan asked if we shouldn't remove any manager that can't be converted. And it was a long discussion. I tried to recall it.
Okay, we've pushed too many things onto my stack, and I can't absorb this problem. It's I don't understand.
We had a 1 hour discussion with Jordan on Thursday about this, and we came up with a plan. And
Okay.
we could have done a better job documenting the plan, because we documented the plan in the Meet chat rather than an issue. But I'll try to remember what the discussion was, and I also, this is connected to another PR that I have where we're not failing on failures. Yeah, I know, and I actually merged 2 of my PRs into one. And I suspect we have more things to change again. But anyways, it's a massive mess, and we're trying to, but we're making a lot of progress, if that makes you feel better. But right now it's terrible because some people, this is breaking some conversions, and it's breaking people when they're trying to do an update. And if the manage fields update fails, it's actually breaking some updates. And
Yeah,
that's pretty bad.
That's definitely a problem.
So the actual change,
and it only removes the problematic entry in the managed fields list.
Well, yeah, but okay, we can. There are also 2 stages. There is the stage where we validate the field managers that are coming from the object and from the etcd object. And then there is we're actually trying to use it to convert the object. And these 2 things don't happen at the same time. If we have a problem reading the managed fields from the object, we're going to look at the ones from live. And if the one from live we can't decode either, we're going to use an empty one.
Okay, but that's decoding the field set problem.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's not converting the object problem.
Yeah, and converting the object, we're going to remove them one by one if they fail.
But this means like
PR.
if you misconfigure the system such that some conversion doesn't work, and then you like run the storage migrator or something and touch all the objects in the system, it's going to break all the managed fields. It's going to remove them.
Yeah.
only if the conversion doesn't also fail when storing the object or retrieving it.
Yeah, which
And we
I
don't
guess I
even
don't
proceed.
understand. What's an example thing that causes a conversion to fail?
good question. I mean, probably a webhook, but beside the webhook, I don't see it. The object has been validated before, so we know it's valid object, so it should convert to anything we want, except for CRDs.
I'm not sure. So a webhook is actually like, I'm worried about a transient failure from a webhook causing a state loss in your object.
Yeah.
that doesn't seem good. I think you should fail if a webhook conversion failed. Like if it was a failure, you're talking to the webhook and not the webhook returned a like error, like this is never going to work.
Okay. What about this though? Okay, so you're saying it should return a failure. Right now, the PR that you're looking at, the 1996, is going to say that anything that happens during during the update of managed fields is going to be ignored. So you're going to have a loss anyway, because I mean, we're not going to track the changes that you've just done. So there is also a loss anyway.
But again, that still escalates a transient webhook failure into state loss on the object.
Yeah.
Which doesn't seem great, does it?
No, but do we want to fail because of that?
Yes. A transient webhook failure should cause the client to need to retry, don't you think?
Yeah, how do we know it's transient though? How do we know that?
I mean, we know some stuff from the return, like did we get a valid response from the webhook that says it couldn't do it? Or did we get a like strange response from the webhook, like connection dropped or timeout or something like that?
Yeah.
Right, like it doesn't seem good if your CRD conversion webhook gets hosed temporarily, like I don't know, it has a scheduling problem or something like that, and then all of a sudden all of your objects that people touch are doing something weird because they've dropped the applier information. But that doesn't sound like a good outcome.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. Especially the applier, because we could lose fields because of that. I don't think so, but yeah. But do we want to fail the request? I mean, this would not have happened before. So it's kind of a new thing where we actually call the webhook where we wouldn't have called the webhook before. And we're actually failing the request where we wouldn't have failed the request before.
I think for apply, we should fail, and for updates.
Yeah, for apply, we always fail.
I mean,
okay, we wouldn't with my change.
I mean, if there's a webhook that is broken in the system, some operations are going to fail, right? Like things that are written on the wrong version or something like that, it's going to fail. So I think making sure some update requests continue to function is winning battles but losing the war. I think the sooner the system administrator is notified that they have a broken webhook that they need to fix, the better.
Sure.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. We can. Yeah. Okay. We can think about it.
So yeah, basically, I'm worried about escalating transient problems into permanent data loss. That doesn't seem good.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem right.
But that also means that for apply, we wouldn't want a change made, because we would want to fail if it's not a missing version.
Yeah, if it's missing,
we probably need to. Yeah, we probably need to figure out what possible errors we can have here, like classify the errors that we can get, and decide whether it's potentially transient and we should fail the whole operation, or if it's permanent and we should just go ahead and deal with it.
Antoine, do you want to put that into your issue as a discussion, or what should we do with it?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so those things are pretty much the same PRs, same problem.
Okay, so just one question, Daniel. So you're saying that okay, let's assume that it's not a conversion error and it's a transient error and we fail. Should we keep going with the update or should we fail the update?
I mean, you would no longer have accurate managed field sets, right?
Yeah. I mean, we wouldn't update it, so yes, it would be wrong. It's going to be very hard in the stack to decide if this is the kind of failure that we want to ignore or not. I don't know how we would do that.
You're getting an actual error, right? We might be able to classify errors. There's some fancy like errors.wrap functions.
Yeah, I thought.
Like as and is. We might be able to classify it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, the problem is
don't
that
know.
right now, my very concern is that right now we have people who are like saying, let's not use 1.18 because it's broken. Like it's actually actively encouraging people to stop using Kubernetes 1.18 because it's broken.
And I've seen that in comments.
Okay.
And
but what condition are they in that's actually causing it? That's the thing that I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, I think we have a bug somewhere in the conversion for CRD. Or like we're trying to convert CRDs. I'm not even sure why. We need to investigate the bug. But there is a bug in the conversion that ends up in an error, and it's just completely failed.
Can we reproduce that?
Yeah.
Okay. One thing that mostly went wrong is that CRD conversion doesn't return a typed error for conversion errors or for version errors, so we can't know if it's a version error when we just fail. That's what I.
Yeah,
so
but why does it fail to convert in this case is the question.
Yeah, but let's actually solve the. So what you're doing here is like solve the meta error, like all possible errors. But I don't think that that's appropriate in this case. I think at first I thought like this is a system configuration problem, but now it sounds like this is actually a bug in another part of our code. Like we should definitely not be throwing away data because we haven't fixed a bug in another part of our code. That doesn't make sense to me. Even if the CRD error is hard to fix, I think we should investigate that. And I think we probably find some people to tell us. Actually, Joe's on the call. Joe may have with an inclination to fix a bug like that. I don't know.
Sorry, I missed the details on this one. It
sounds like there's some sort of CRD conversion webhook call failure.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll definitely take a look at it.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it the one the cursor's on here? The 91006? No, that's.
Yeah, that's. Is it the open fast one? So.
Yeah,
make sure I can read up on it. Okay. Let me have a look at it. I'm bringing it up on my screen now.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one. So the below the open fast one is one of the reports where they have this weird conversion error where they don't get a. No wait, that's a different one.
Seems to be another one.
At some point they get. Jordan opened an issue for that. Let me see if it's done here.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's a different error, but they get this one. No, come on. This one. So the conversion fails because it's missing version and kind, and that's the error. But in that case, Jordan couldn't reproduce it, and
Okay.
that's the problem that happened. And we had a few, like one was in Calico, I think, Calico that was related. I'm not sure where I'll find the entire list of bugs that are related.
I mean, I still believe that if we have any error in our code, we should not break everything for people. Like, my opinion is, I think I agree with Jordan that it's possible that we have bug in our code between having update or anything completely broken and having a missing managed field or a missing update in the managed field. I think I'd rather have the missing managed field update. Like this is bad, right? Like people, yeah, this is bad. This is making me super uncomfortable, and I'd rather have the missing managed update than these. If we fix the bug, we'll end up in the same place, but the experience for people as we fix the bug is very different. My main problem is that we're never going to find these bugs if we have the warning, though.
Yeah, that seems very unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, the kind of what is on my mind is like, how many different types of bugs do we have like this? Are there very few, or do we think there's many? I'd like to understand that a little better first before we make a call on like what we'd like to do to fix it. Because if it turns out that there are very few and we can find them and address them individually, that might actually be better than trying to do something broader, which might end up masking problems.
Yeah. I feel like we found two right here. We just found two in like a couple of weeks.
Okay. Okay, I've got both
every
of these
one of
ones
them is
open.
pretty bad.
Okay, I can spend some time on both of these and see if I can extrapolate from them to more broad cases as well.
Okay, thanks, Joe. I've opened it in a tab too. I might comment on it. My brain is full, and I need to drop off this call before I absorb any more information.
Yeah, don't overload.
All right.
See you. We have 4 minutes. Antoine, Andrea is here and was on Slack. I don't know if you read it. Can you think of anything that would be a good starter issue right now?
Oh, it's about starter issue. Okay, I wasn't sure what the context was. Okay, let me. That's not easy.
Oh. Yeah, I thought about.
Oh yeah, this one is perfect. The manually updating managed fields should be impossible through sub-resource. That's very good.
Okay. Yeah, it might be. Yeah. Do you want to look at it?
Sounds great. I think I would have to work on it offline and absorb a little bit the context, etc. Maybe I'm gonna ping you on Slack. I actually don't have much context on on all this. But
let's talk on the Slack. Maybe the working group API expression, so that everybody can look. And we'll give you a starting point and where to look and these kind of things.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Cool.
No problem.
Then
Okay, I think we're done.
I think we're done. Yeah. Yeah, we got a long backlog, but yep. All right.
Thank you,
And
Kevin.
I'll stop recording. Thank you for being here, and goodbye.
Yeah, bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
See you in 2 weeks.